Good morning. I had a brief conversation with her yesterday and I will have a longer conversation today. And of course I'm very much interested to hear from Theresa May what her plan is. Because as you already said in your short report, the clock is ticking. And we are approaching the end of March. So obviously we all on the European side are extremely anxious to get to a conclusion. And of course we hope for a no deal, we hope to avoid a no deal situation.
I read some comments of yours and they were quite scathing about a country waning in influence that has lost a lot of power in the last couple of years. And to be fair, as a Brit, one has to take a certain amount on the chin. But the other point I thought was perhaps not quite so accurate, sir. As you said, there's no such thing as splendid isolation. The British don't want splendid isolation, sir. They want a very close relationship with the Netherlands and with the whole of Europe. Isn't it time to leave the splendid isolation rhetoric and language about precipices and people screaming? Isn't it time to leave that aside, sir?
Well, you know, I think it is your good friends who have to tell you the truth now and then. And I think me, myself, but also the Netherlands is one of the best friends of the United Kingdom. And we are highly worried about the course you've taken, the Brexit, and now the way it is being handled, and the fact that we are approaching the Brexit date in only 4 weeks and still the deal is not in sight. So we have to be very forthright with you. And if we aren't, your friends are not delivering. So we have to be candid and open.
Mark, so there's been a lot of talk here in the UK, as you know, about the possibility of extensions of the current deadline. Just give us an updated view on that, and how willing do you think the EU negotiators would be to see an extension of at least a month, possibly 2 months?
An extension can only take place if the UK asks for it. It's not up to the EU to request an extension. So the UK government has to decide it needs an extension. And then I think on the European side we will ask what you want to achieve with an extension. How to avoid that we will just go around in the same circles. Because as you know, we are in this situation because Theresa May's government has drawn 2 red lines. One is that she doesn't want Northern Ireland to stay as part of the internal market for the time being, as well as being part, of course, of the United Kingdom. And secondly, because she doesn't want the UK as a whole to be connected in some form to the customs union of the EU. Given those 2 red lines, the only deal on the table is the present one, including a backstop. So what we are trying to do now is to make more explicit what is behind the backstop, to deal with some of the uncertainties and some of the worries on the UK side. But at the end, it's this deal on the table. Given the red lines Theresa May herself has drawn, this is what we have to do.
Just on Mrs May's optimism that we heard a quick bite from there, Mark, as well. She believes a deal is within our grasp. Now, let's all work on the same assumption that the original agreement, I believe it's 508 pages, I forget now, let's say that stays as it is. Is it possible to have this so-called codicil, this piece of paper that goes on top that deals specifically with the backstop issue? Is that possible, Mark?
I think it is possible. Of course, this is also up to the UK government to decide what they need to carry the Parliament. But what I've heard from Parliament is many people asking to get rid of the backstop altogether, or to get a unilateral exit clause, or a set end date, without collectively us knowing whether a settlement for the difficulty of avoiding a hard border between Ireland and Northern Ireland can be in place by that time. And that is why the backstop is there. But what we have to agree collectively is that if the backstop is needed at all, and nobody wants to kick it into place, but if it has to happen at all, it will be as short as possible. And nobody on the EU side will want to keep the UK any longer in the backstop than necessary, only till a new arrangement for that border has been found. And I think that level of confidence, that level of trust has to be on the table, and that's what we are discussing in the next couple of weeks, and maybe a codicil or something else can help.
Hi, I'm Joanna Bersecci, and thank you for watching. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more from CNBC International. Thank you for watching.